Hi, I'm Nay. I'm going to show you how to solve for your x-intercepts using a linear equation, and I already have one problem already worked out just so that I can explain it to you guys before actually working one out. So what most problems are going to give you is your slope, and then they're going to give you a point that the line passes through. So I always start out with the parent graph, which is y equals mx plus b, and I enter all the information that I have, and I solve for what I don't have. And in this case, when y is 15, the slope is negative 1/2, and the x is 10 plus b. So we're solving for b here, and it comes out that b is 20. And then I take it over and I set my y to 0 because when you're solving for your x-intercept, your y is going to be 0. And I enter all the information that I have, and this time I don't have my x. So I solve for my x, um, and I get negative 40 equals x. Okay? So now we're going to work on one together. Okay, so for the first slope is negative 2/3, and then my point is negative 7/8. So I find my b, inputting all the information that I do have. So when y is 8, my slope is a negative 2/3 of a negative 7 plus b. So negative 2/3 times a negative 7 is going to give me a 4.67 plus b, which equals 8. And then you're going to subtract 4.67 from both sides, and you're going to get a 3.33 equals your b. And then you bring it over and you set y to 0 equals your negative 2/3 of x plus 3.33. Subtract 3.33 from both sides, get a negative 3.33 equals a negative 2/3 of x. You divide this time by the negative 2/3, and you get 4.995 equals your x. Okay? Okay? For our next slope is going to be 4/9, and then our point is 4/8. Okay? So I start out inputting all the information that I do have. So when y is 8, my slope is 4/9 times 4 plus b. Okay? I go over to my calculator. Parentheses of 4 divided by 9 times 4, which is going to give us 1.78 plus b equals 8. Subtract both sides. 78. And then I go back, I subtract it, and I get a 6.22 is equal to b. Okay? Then I come over, set my y to 0. Slope is 4/9. Do not know my x. Plus 6.22 for b. You can put a line there. Subtract 6.22. Get a negative 6.22 equals 4/9 of x. Then I divide both sides by 4/9, and my x is going to be equal to and your x is negative 14. Okay? Okay? So for the next problem we're going to work out is the slope is going to be 2/3, and the pair is 1/8. Okay? Input my information. that I do know. So then when y is 8, my slope is 2/3 of 1 um, plus b. Then I get 2/3 plus b equals 8. Subtract 2/3 from 8. And my b is equal to, I go 8 minus 2/3, and I get 7.33. Then I go in, put a line here. I go in, y is equal to 0 plus a 2/3 x plus 7.33. Alright, subtract 7.33 from both sides, and I get negative 7.33 is equal to 2/3 of x. Divide both sides by 2/3, and I get that my x is equal to, let's see, 11. I'm sorry, a negative 11. Alright, and then I have a few problems here that you can try out yourself, and basically just pause the video. These down here, 5 through 10. So 5 is 6/11 for your slope. Your pair is 6.5 is 6, and then 5.5. Then for number 6, your slope is 1/4. Your pair is 5, and then 7. For your next one, your slope is -1, and your pair is -6/7. The next one, your slope is 2. Your pair is 10/12. For the next one, your slope is 7/8. Your pair is 3, and then 5. And then for the last one, your slope is 8/9, and your pair is 4/3. So these basically vary in difficulty, and just pause the video and see how you go from there. Okay. So after you've worked out all the problems, I have them worked out here, so that we can basically go over them. So for number 5, your slope was 6/11, and you start out trying to find your b here. And 6/11 times 6 is going to give you 3.27, and you start subtracting from both sides, and your b is 2.23. You come over here and you set your y equal to 0 times 6/11 x plus 2.23, and you solve for x, and you get a negative 4.09 equals x. For number 6, your slope is 1/4. You start out solving for b. You simplify. You get 1.25 plus b equals 7. You get rid of that 1.25, and you get 5.75 equals b. Go over and you set your y to 0. You get 1/4 x plus 5.75. You get rid of that 5.75, and get rid of your 5.75, and then you solve for x, and you get a negative 23 equals x. For number 7, your slope is a -1, and you solve for b, which I think this one was fairly easy. A negative times a negative is a positive, of course. So 6 plus b equals 7. Then, of course, you subtract, get your b all alone, and your b is 1. You go over and you fill it in. 0 equals a -1x plus 1. And usually it'll probably just come up negative x plus 1. You solve for x, and you get a positive 1 equals x. For number 8, your slope is 2, and your point 10/12. So you solve for your b, okay, and you get it by itself, and you get a negative 8 equals b. Come over, set your y to 0, and you solve for your x. Get rid of that negative 8. Get 2x equals 8. Divide by 2. You get 4 equals your x. for the next one, your slope is 7/8, and your point was 3.5. And so you're solving for your b, and 7/8 times 3 is going to give you that 2.625 plus b. Get b by itself, and you get 2.375 equals b. Come over, set y equal to 0, and write out your equation. You solve for x, get it by itself, and you get a negative 2.71 equals x. And then for your last one, your slope is 8/9 and your 0.443. You set it up as usual to solve for your b, and in the end your b is a negative 0.56. You go over, you set your y to 0, write out your equation, solve for x, and your x is a 0.63 equals x. Thank you for letting me help you. I hope you learned something. Good night.